These trademarks from Universal Studios are not what you think they are. Good evening and welcome back to Judventures with your big lad Daz here. Now, if you've been scrolling through Facebook and Instagram over the last couple of days, then I'm more than sure you will have come across a load of trademark applications that people are posting from Universal Studios, Great Britain. These trademarks have been registered here in the UK. Well, I'm here to tell you not to get too excited just yet. Now, before we get into that though, if you want to be kept updated from all the news and going-ons in the UK theme park industry, as well as wanting to join us on our travels and our vlogs and our theme park adventures, then please think about smashing that subscribe button. It does not cost you anything, but it really does help a small channel like ours and will be forever appreciated. Now, with that being said, let's get into this. So, like I've said, over the last couple of days you've no doubt come across these trademark applications. Universal Studios registered right here in the UK, and you're excited for what that means about the future of the UK Universal Studios project. Now, to understand why we shouldn't be getting too excited about these trademark applications, we need to understand a little bit about trademark law. Now, let me preface this with stating that I by am no means an expert in trademark law. This is just what I found while I've been doing a little research on these potential trademarks. So, the first thing that we need to be aware of is location. What's giving a lot of credence to these rumours online at the moment is the fact that these trademarks have been registered right here in the UK. Now, that essentially doesn't mean anything at all. When registering a trademark, it's not registered worldwide. It needs to be registered in every country in which you're wanting to protect your intellectual property. So, for example, if I wanted to register the Judventures brand and I registered it right here in the UK, then that is my intellectual property. Anyone found using it, they can go through a whole legal process of cease and desist, all the way to infringement. It protects my assets. However, if I've only registered that here in the UK and someone over in the US or Germany decides to use that IP or the name Judventures, I cannot stop them because I've not protected my IP elsewhere. Now, a giant like Universal is going to want to protect their IP everywhere where they do business. Now, obviously for the parks registering in the US, that's where they are based in the US, that's going to be the first port of call. But a huge chunk of their business is done elsewhere. They have parks in multiple other countries, they have film releases, they have merchandise to sell, they have toys to sell, and therefore their IP needs to be protected all over. Not only that, but there may be countries where they don't do business with. However, they potentially would still register the intellectual property and the trademarks in those countries too, just to protect that trademark for any future interest. And not only are they protecting it for future interest, they're protecting it for other reasons as well. So should Universal not register Universal Studios over here in the UK, and that means that someone else can register Universal Studios here in the UK, if that said other person or said other company decides that they're not operating within the law, or they decide that they are not going to offer the best customer service, then people may associate Universal Studios that's registered to someone else in the UK to Universal Studios, the proper company. So it's only diligent of a company, especially one the size of Universal, that they register their IPs all over the world, regardless of whether they're actually going to do any form of business or sell any products in that country. Not only that, but it's not just for the parks where Universal would need to register these IPs anyway. Just because they don't have a park over here yet doesn't mean that they don't need to register certain IPs over here for the likes of TV deals, advertising, written documentation, toys, games, clothing, you name it. They've got to register that trademark over here in the UK in order to protect that asset and protect whatever it is that they're selling. So just the fact that these have actually been registered on the gov.uk website and they've been registered over here in the UK essentially doesn't mean anything in regards to the location of where these things are going to be. For example, Halloween Horror Nights. The second thing that we need to take into account and what we need to look at when we discuss these IPs and these trademarks is classes. Now, what do I mean by classes? Classes are essentially the category where you wish your trademark to be sat. So you can't just register a trademark and that trademark is covered for everything, a blanket covering. That trademark needs to be registered in every category that you want to register it in, and there's something like 50 odd categories right here in the UK. I'll give you a rather naughty example. If you were to register, how shall we say this, an internal massaging device, then you would need to register it under class 10. Now, just reading from the screen, what class 10 is any product that you wish to register a trademark for that is surgical, medical, dental or veterinary, apparatus or instruments, artificial limbs, eyes and teeth, orthopedic articles, suture materials, sex aids, massage apparatus, supportive bandages, and furniture adapted for medical use. So if you want to register a trademark for any product that is covered within that class, you would need to do class 10. And there's classes for almost everything that you can think of. So when looking at these classes, it does give us a pretty good indication of where Universal are planning to, or what Universal are planning to use these trademarks for. So let's look at Halloween Horror Nights, for example. Now, let me preface this with the fact is that I do fully believe that Halloween Horror Nights will appear right here in the UK when Universal UK goes ahead. There's no doubt that with the love of the scare industry over here and our love of Halloween, that they wouldn't push that forward. It's a way to print money for them. I can almost guarantee that's going to happen. Despite that though, the trademark that you can see on screen, and one that people have been rather excited about, is not a trademark for Halloween Horror Nights, the event. You'll be able to see that the class for this trademark that's been registered is 9, 25 and 28. And essentially what those classes are for recorded media, games, clothing and playthings. So they've only registered that. So they're able to sell the merchandise over here in the UK, they're able to sell publications or tickets over here in the UK, things like that. It's not actually registered for an event over here in the UK. So as another example, a couple of people have mentioned one of the trademarks called Blues Raptor Rush, and there's a little bit of speculation. It's not grounded in anything solid, but I think just people's hopes. Is speculation that what that could be is the UK's version of Velocicoaster. Blues Raptor Rush, what an excellent name for a coaster. When you actually look at the trademark application for it, you'll be able to see that it's only registered in class 28, which is games and playthings. And if you do a little bit more research on the internet, which I've had a look for this, you'll actually find that it is registered for a product, which is a little racing toy set, which you can see right here on screen. And it's only registered in that area and under that class, and therefore if they wanted to release a roller coaster within that with that name, they would have to register it under a different class. Now again, I don't profess to be an expert in trademark law. However, dumbing it down so it goes into my own small mind, from what I can see, any trademark that's registered between class 1 and 34 are all for physical products that you can hold in your hands. Mobile phones, games, clothing, hats, all need to be registered between 1 and 34 in their corresponding categories. Any trademark that's registered at 35 or above is classed as services, which is exactly where we want to be looking if we're looking for things to do with a theme park. And to be even more specific, I believe it would be class 41 that we need to look into, which is for entertainment services. Now, I've had a look at other companies over here in the UK, such as Alton Towers, Thorpe Park and Blackpool Pleasure Beach, and the vast majority of them seem to be registering everything under class 41, especially when it comes to roller coaster rides, theme park names, land names, etc. are all under that 41 classification, and therefore that does seem to lend credence to what I've researched, that seems to be category 41 is the one that we want to be looking for when we are looking at these trademarks to guess whether these could be anything to do with the Universal UK theme park going forward. Now, some of these are obviously registered under 41, but there are more entertainment services than just theme parks, but what they are we don't necessarily know. A little bit of research we should be able to find out. So again, going back to Halloween Horror Nights, that's not registered under classification 41 or class 41 if you will, and therefore there is no trademark here in the UK for an entertainment event called Halloween Horror Nights. So unfortunately there is no plan for that at this moment in time. Another quick little bit of guidance is obviously the dates. Now, companies do want to get these out far in advance. As we know, they've already registered domain names for a park that they're not 100% sure is going ahead yet, but we do have to look at just how far back some of these trademarks go to be able to see if we can give any sort of weight behind some of these claims as to what's coming. Now, one thing I found when looking through all of these trademarks is there's actually a trademark there for Universal Destinations and Experiences. Now, that is the division of Universal that's been set up that's eventually put this plan forward to open a Universal Studios UK. Now, it would seem quite an easy jump in my mind that if there's any trademarks registered before the date of Universal Destinations and Experiences, then you can throw those out right now, because if Universal Destination and Experiences are the one that's put this plan forward, no one's going to be registering trademarks before that in the UK for a theme park that's not even been conceived yet. And then even looking after the date as to when Universal Destinations and Experiences was put together and was created, there's no way in my mind that they would be looking at registering trademarks for potential land names and potential roller coaster names or potential events associated with the UK theme park before they've actually fully confirmed that this theme park's going ahead. They've been quite open with us and they have said, yes, we do have tentative plans in place, we are looking at opening it, but it's completely in its infancy at the minute. They are just looking at the land, seeing if the land is suitable. They still have all of the laws and legislations and planning permissions to go through. It's still a long way off, and I don't think until we actually see some poles in the ground and some concrete being poured to show that this is going ahead, that we're going to see any form of trademark applications for this park. Look at Epic Universe. We've only just recently seen a load of trademarks been put in place for the Harry Potter section of the park. Now that is coming up at an absolute comet's pace. It's half built already, they're flying through it, and they've still not fully got all of these trademark applications in place. So to think that we would have trademarks in place for Universal UK when all there is essentially an idea, it's not even sort of signed off yet, it's quite a big jump. So there you have it. I do apologise if that's a little bit of a buzzkill. We do love to be positive on this channel, and I for one can guarantee I'm just as excited as the rest of you for this Universal theme park. My fingers are completely and utterly crossed that this is coming to fruition. I'm so excited for it. I'm there. I think that yes, it's going to happen. I just think that we're jumping the gun a little bit in terms of these trademark registrations. Again though, I'll mention for the third time, I do not profess to be an expert in trademark law. If there is an expert in trademark law and you just so happen to be one of the very few people that stumble across this video, by all means pop some comments down below. Let us know if I'm on the mark or if there's something that I'm not taking into consideration in regards to these trademark applications. But with that being said, if you like this video, smash that like button, and please do me a solid, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one. Hit the credits.